Hi there, everybody. Okay, this is a written moderation exercise. Okay, moderation is when you are given a text or you hear something in your own language and you need to explain it either verbally or in a written form to someone else. So I'm going to read you the instructions. But then there's more of the instructions in Spanish, which I'll read at the end because many of you probably don't speak Spanish. So write an email to your friend Kevin, 180 to 200 words, following the instructions given. Please include any sociocultural aspects about Spain or Spanish people that you think may be important for him. Your friend Kevin has come to work as a software engineer for 4 months. He has to work long hours and he wants to hire a cleaner. He's very sociable and likes entertaining colleagues and friends at home. So he needs a person who can do the housework and cook, especially typical Spanish dishes. Kevin would like to hire a housekeeper who can work 3 times a week for 4 or 5 hours each day. He has found an article about housekeepers, but he doesn't understand it well, so he has asked for your help. He has asked you for help. Read the information below and write an email to your friend explaining the most relevant information for him. Mention any socio-cultural aspects. So here's the letter, and I'll read the details afterwards. Then you can hear me reading in Spanish if you want. Hello, Kevin. How are you? If you want to hire a domestic worker in Spain, I will introduce you to a good one. You had better do it according to the standing legislation and act as a legal employer. Okay, notice, let's see. Hello, Kevin. It's an email, it's fairly informal. Kevin's a friend. So you want to hire a domestic worker. I would just lose this word worker, a domestic in Spain. Okay, I want to hire a domestic in Spain. I would probably add when you are in Spain. I will introduce you to a good one. You had better do it according to the standing legislation and act as a legal employer. Again, this sentence, it sounds rather formal. Yeah? Okay, you had better, I think that's fine. Do it. Do it. So, firstly, standing legislation. I want to do it according to the, if you like, the new legislation, and just be a legal employer. And like that, you can be a legal employer. Yes, you'd better do it according to the new legislation and be a legal employer. Otherwise, you would have serious consequences for breaking the law. So normally, the subject of have consequences is the thing. Otherwise, and instead of this would, I'd rather a might. It might have serious consequences. For breaking the law for you, like paying a hefty fine. I like this word hefty. The law changed recently because of housekeepers' poor working conditions. yeah, housekeepers' poor working conditions, the poor conditions of housekeep, the poor working conditions. I think I'd probably do it like that. The poor working conditions of housekeepers. Thus, again, this is very formal. Yeah? So, yeah? Thus is perfectly correct, but it just sounds too formal. So the authorities are doing their best to implement the law currently. So authorities, I would probably say the authorities are doing their best to implement, again very formal, to apply the law, this currently, again. So, at the moment, the authorities are doing their best to apply the law. Sounds less formal. You must sign your contract in the Spanish official agency for employment. Again, this sounds very formal. Here, so you've written seguridad social. In the office of, or in the offices of the Spanish Social Security, Spanish Social Security. So I need social. Okay, in the offices. In the offices of the Spanish Social Security. In the offices of the local Social Security. First and foremost, that sounds fine, make sure the contract includes the following aspects. Okay, the following aspects. Again, it's rather formal. The following details. The minimum wage, €7.04. Notice, in English, that has got to be a dot. In English, dot is comma and comma is dot. The minimum wage, €7.04 per hour, which includes extra hours. So instead of extra hours, overtime and holidays, which includes overtime and holidays. Okay, having read it, so a receipt with your full name and identity card and those of the employee, the monthly salary including the taxes and without taxes and before tax, and the date when you signed the contract. So I think this is actually talking about the pay slip. So a pay slip with your full name and identity card number and those of the employee, of the employee. The monthly salary including tax and without tax, and the date when you signed the contract. If the worker goes less than 120 days in the year, I'd rather have a comes here. Comes. less than 120 days in the year. 120 days a year. If the worker comes less than 110, the contract will be partial, no matter how many hours. So instead of this she, he thing, they work. A 30-day period to rest or holidays. Wow. Okay. 30 days, I would say 30 days a year for holidays. A 30-day period to rest or holidays. Again, I don't like it. It sounds very formal as well. Yes, I'm going to say 30 days. So 30 days a year. Oh, I need a hyphen here as well. Days a year. 30 days a year. I would just say 30 days a year holidays. Yes. Okay, you can sign the contract with the employee or someone who represents him, albeit not very common. So you can sign the contract with the employee or their representative, albeit not very common. And again, this albeit, it sounds very formal. Yeah, let's see, albeit it's a good word, but it's too formal for this. So, I hate changing this albeit because it's a lovely word. Although, it is not very common. Best wishes. Okay. The following details. So a pay slip with your full name. It must include the following details. Okay. So instead of a pay slip, because I think actually having read it is what it's talking about. So if we're including this, then I'm going to take out the pay slip. Your full name and identity card number and those of the employees. The monthly salary, including tax and without tax. And the date, together with the date when you signed the contract. Okay. Let's see. My first comment to you with this is the language has been far too formal. Yeah. I'm not also completely convinced you put down all the details in the, as it says in the description that follows. Let's see. At C2, because I know you're trying to get the last level of the Escuela Oficial de Idiomas, which is level C2. I think I'd probably give it a B+, something like that. Okay, so let me read the instructions now. Si tiene un empleado del hogar, tiene unas obligaciones legales. La última gran regulación del empleo del hogar quiso acercar los derechos de los trabajadores domésticos a los de los trabajadores por cuenta ajena, lo que de rebote acercó las las obligaciones de los particulares en cuyas casas trabajan a las de los empresarios corrientes. Por lo legal, por el bien de todos. El empleado del hogar está en igualdad de condiciones con cualquier trabajador en lo que respecta al salario mínimo interprofesional, que en 2019 ha experimentado una fuerte subida, tanto en lo que respecta el trabajo al tiempo completo, ha pasado de 10.302,60 euros brutos al año al 12.600 euros. Como por horas, ha pasado de 5,76 € a 7,04 € la hora. El pago de salario debe justificarse obligatoriamente con la entrega de un recibo que contenga los datos mínimos esenciales: nombre, apellidos del DNI del empleado y del empleador, sueldo bruto mensual que hayan pactado, cotización correspondiente al empleado, 4,7% del sueldo, sueldo neto, resultando de restarle al bruto el 4,7%. El fecha en que se suscribió el contrato. El trabajo por horas se paga a un mínimo de 7,04 € la hora, que ya incluyen los correspondientes a pagas extras y vacaciones. Trabajo por horas. Ni una hora sin contrato. Si su empleado del hogar va a una casa menos de 120 días al año, sin importar el número de horas que haga en cada jornada, el contrato que deben firmar será necesariamente un contrato por horas. Una duda que se plantea con frecuencia es si es obligatorio formalizar la relación laboral, incluso para trabajos de muy poca entidad, de 2 o 3 horas a la semana. La respuesta es sí. Solo por ignorar la legislación laboral, las sanciones llegan hasta los 6.250 euros. Además, si un empleado no dado de alta tiene un accidente laboral y sufre daños personales, su empleador podría verse obligado a desembolsar una indemnización que deja temblando su patrimonio, cosa en principio no ocurrirá si el accidente tuviera lugar estando los papeles en regla y el trabajo se desempeñara en las condiciones adecuadas. Otra duda común es la que plantean quienes comparten empleado con varios conocidos y se preguntan si pueden hacer un único contrato. No está permitido. Es obligatorio que haya un contrato por cada uno de los hogares en los que se preste el servicio. Además, el empleador siempre debe firmar los papeles que formalizan la relación con el empleado ante la seguridad social. Para ello, puede nombrar un representante, que puede ser el propio empleado. Y aunque no vaya los 5 días de la semana a trabajar, debe descansar sus 30 días naturales al año. Jornada completa. Si tiene un empleado del hogar que va a su casa todos los días laborables hasta sumar 40 horas de trabajo a la semana, le debe hacer un contrato indefinido a tiempo completo y pagarle al menos el 100% del salario mínimo interprofesional, que es de 14 pagas de 900 euros al mes. So there you go. Thanks for watching.